Hello and welcome to Quest Recapped. Today, we will be going through the 2006 animated family adventure film, The Ant Bully. The movie begins with a boy named Lucas Nickel who has just moved to a new neighborhood. Due to his lack of friends, he is continuously bullied by the neighborhood kids, led by a boy named Steve, who calls him little and weak. On top of that, Steven also torments the small children that follow him, but they are too helpless to do anything. In anger, Lucas vents his rage on an ant colony, spraying and flooding their anthill with a hose. He tells the ants that he can do whatever he wants to them because he is big and they are small. The colony of ants is so used to Lucas attacking them that they've come up with a nickname for him, the Destroyer. Moments after, Lucas is called by his mother, who informs him that he will be living with his grandma and sister while his parents are away on vacation. She notices he is upset and asks what is wrong, but Lucas rudely tells her to leave and does not even say goodbye properly. Meanwhile, in the underground ant colony, an ant wizard named Zoc is working on a potion that he claims would solve the Destroyer problem. Zoc grows frustrated as the potion fails to work despite his multiple attempts, but his girlfriend, Hova, tries to cheer him up. Just then, the head of the Ant Council enters and informs them that food stocks are far lower than normal due to the Destroyer's regular attacks. He then expresses his hope that Zoc will finish the potion as it will help put a stop to Lucas's violent actions toward their home. The next morning, Lucas is bullied again by Steve, who suddenly throws a firework near him, which goes out before it bursts. After that, Lucas violently sprays water on the ant nest until it is crushed. As a result, Zoc and the other ants are in danger in the nest as they drift underwater. Moments after, Lucas is interrupted by a pest exterminator named Stan Beals, who claims that Lucas's father hired him but forgot to sign the contract before departing. The man then persuades Lucas to sign the document in his father's place. Meanwhile, in the ant colony, Zoc and Hova emerge from the water and rescue the head of the council who was buried under the rocks. The ants worry about the Destroyer since he has been attacking without any apparent reason or provocation on their part. Hearing this, Zoc informs the ants that he has finally finished the potion and it is now time to put an end to the Destroyer once and for all. That night, the ants approach Lucas's room with caution, where he is sleeping soundly. Zoc then puts the potion into Lucas' ear, causing him to shrink and morph into an ant-like creature. Due to the loud thunder, Lucas's grandmother wakes up and goes to his room to check on him. She then sees through her binoculars that her grandson is being kidnapped by ants, but before she can intervene, she passes out in shock. Following this, the ants take Lucas within their colony and put him on trial for his crimes. The colony intends to eat him and be done with him, but the queen ant decides that they should teach him a lesson so that he can make things better for everyone. She then decides to punish Lucas by making him live among them and experience life as an ant so that he can learn and understand their perspective. Although many ants disagree with her decision, the queen remains firm and asks volunteers to come forward who want to train Lucas. Hearing this, Hova steps forward and offers to teach Lucas on his journey. The training begins the next morning, but Lucas tries to hide from Hova and sets up an escape plan. However, he soon realizes that running away will be pointless since he can't go home in his tiny size. Later, two ant teams compete to capture the gigantic sweet rock known to humans as the jelly beans. Lucas begins to fulfill a role on the team as they cheer him on and sprint closer to the finish line. However, when he is unable to climb the wall like the other ants, he gives up and their team loses. Seeing him upset, Hova comforts him and advises him to be patient during his time with the ants. Just then, their conversation is interrupted by a swarm of bees who have come to attack. The ants put up a brave fight, but are forced to flee when they realize their weakness. They then work together to attack the herd and protect one another. Hova defends Lucas from a wasp that was going to eat him, but the wasp ends up attacking Hova instead. Seeing this, Zoc asks Lucas to help her, but Lucas is terrified and runs away. Zoc then goes to rescue her, but the wasp catches Hova and flies away. Moments later, Lucas, who is also being hounded by bees, comes across a firecracker and hastily fires it to scare the bees away. Surprisingly, the plan works, and he is able to drive them away. The terrified wasp who was carrying Hova decides to release her and flies with the swarm. Following the incident, Lucas is praised by the ants for his victory over the bees. However, Zoc is still upset with him for not helping Hova and claims that Lucas was only trying to save himself. Seeing Hova take care of Lucas also causes stress between Hova and Zoc. Later, the ants show Lucas around the colony and explain how their colony began with the ant mother. Next to the drawing of the ant mother is a drawing of the cloud breather, which is an evil being told to them by their ancestors. Lucas identifies the drawing as the exterminator and recalls that he is scheduled to arrive. He then tries to make up an excuse to head home and cancel the appointment, but the others won't let him. However, Lucas informs them that his house is stocked with food and that he is on his way to grab some for them. Willing to go to any length for food, Hova and her friends, Krila and Fugax, agree and join Lucas in going home. When they arrive, they see a huge fluffy carpet that is an enormous obstacle. The disheartened ants consider returning, but Lucas stops them and urges them to fly around his house using flower petals and the power of a fan. With this strategy, they successfully cross the furry carpet and enter the kitchen. The ants are overjoyed after discovering sweet treats, especially jelly beans. Just then, Lucas discovers the exterminator's phone number on the fridge and jumps on the phone to dial it. However, he is unaware that he has entered one of the numbers wrong and instead calls the local pizza shop. Lucas tries to terminate the contract, but the pizza guy believes he is canceling the order. With this, Lucas believes he has completed the job and thinks that the exterminator will not arrive now. Just then, his older sister, Tiffany, arrives in the kitchen, so Lucas and the ants go into hiding immediately. Fugax, on the other hand, goes to get some jelly beans and Tiffany soon notices him. She is disgusted by the presence of an insect in the house and tries to squash him with the phone, injuring Fugax. Seconds later, her grandma enters and stops her, informing her that she might kill Lucas. She shouts at the ants to let Lucas go and instead take her. Tiffany gets confused by this and believes her grandmother has gone insane. Following this, Lucas and the ants return to the anthill, and Zoc is overjoyed to see Hova as he was worrying about her. But when he discovers that they were in the human's place, he is enraged because that place is forbidden due to its danger. To keep Lucas from endangering Hova again, he threatens Lucas, saying that he will never give him the potion that will make him grow again because he is a menace. Furthermore, Zoc tells him to seek help elsewhere if he wants to return. Hearing this, Lucas gets very upset and decides to leave the colony. Later, Hova asks Zoc where Lucas is, but he dismissively says that she should not worry because Lucas is their enemy. Hova gets enraged at hearing this and decides to go seek after Lucas herself. Fugax and Krila also decide to accompany her because they know Lucas will not be able to survive the night alone in this place. Meanwhile, Lucas begins to cry alone by the pond, missing his family and his regular size. But a few moments later, a frog emerges from the pond to attack him. Hova and her friends arrive fast to save Lucas, but he is eventually eaten by the frog. He then lands alive in the frog's guts, together with the other living insects. Hova tells her friends to give up because Lucas is gone, but a remorseful Zoc entices the frog to devour him as well. After Zoc lands in the frog's guts, he inserts a root he has brought into the frog's stomach, and the acid begins to rise up. A few seconds later, this causes the frog to burp out Lucas, Zoc, and the other insects alive. Once outside, Lucas asks Zoc why he helped him, and Zoc clarifies that he didn't do it for Lucas, but for Hova, because that's what ants do, they sacrifice themselves for each other. Now, Hova requests that Zoc accompany Lucas that night, and Zoc agrees to do so. Following that, Zoc and Lucas begin to bond and discuss their differences. Zoc comes to understand that Lucas has a kind heart. As they chat, Lucas shares about human life and how people can be divided and often discriminate against those they consider to be different. Eventually, Zoc reflects on his actions with Lucas and realizes he has not been kind to him. The next morning, the ants wake up to find what appears to be a giant ant approaching them. They rejoice, thinking it's the ant mother, but when Lucas takes a closer look, he sees that it's the top of the exterminator, Stan's truck. Lucas informs the colony that they are in danger and that the cloud breather is there to extinguish the entire colony. When they ask how he knows this, Lucas admits that he brought the exterminator there. Hearing this, the ants feel betrayed and try to banish him, but Lucas asks them one last time to trust him. He then comes up with an idea, to use Zoc's potion to shrink Stan to save them all. Following this, Lucas and Zoc enter Wasp territory and offer a truce with their leader to ask for help in stopping Stan. When the wasps witness the harm Stan is causing, they agree to help the ants. As Stan approaches the anthill, the wasps and ants use the shrinking potion to attack him. Unfortunately, Stan's headphones act as shields, and he easily overpowers the insects with his pesticide. As a result, many ants and wasps are killed by the chemicals sprayed by Stan. Meanwhile, Hova is being crushed by an unconscious bee and is unable to get back on her feet. Hova urges Lucas to flee for his life, but Lucas makes the brave decision to help her. He eventually manages to lift the bee with all his strength, helping Hova to survive. As Stan causes chaos and nearly destroys the ant colony's nest, 2 insects find their way into his jeans and bite his sensitive area, causing him severe pain. While he is distracted, a swarm of wasps flies toward his exposed back end and stings him with the potion. With this, Stan yells out and twitches himself down to the size of a young child. When he notices a bunch of wasps swarming around him, he rushes to his car, but unfortunately for him, Stan is unable to reach the handle. He then notices a bike and rides it along the street while the wasps continue to follow him. After this, Lucas faces the Queen's final trial, during which he is crowned as a member of the ant community and granted his freedom. After saying farewell to his friends, he grows back naked, so he storms inside immediately to get his clothes. Just then, his parents return from his trip and he rushes up to hug his mother and apologizes for being rude to her before she left. Later, Steve and his followers return to torment Lucas, but this time he defends himself. Since Steve's followers are also fed up with his actions, they join Lucas and chase Steve away. With this, Steve rushes home crying for his mommy, while Lucas and the other kids become friends. Eventually, his new friends invite him to play, but before leaving, Lucas notices the ants and pours jelly beans onto the ground for them. We have come to the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Kindly like, subscribe, and share this video. If you also have thoughts you intend to share, kindly leave them in the comment section. See you in the next video.